Well, D. Smith, you're not a real union right now because you've decertified. Time to mix sports and the law. And this one's going to be a little complicated. We have Matt Mayoko here, our 49ers insider from CSNBayarea.com, and we have our legal expert, Steve Moskowitz. So listening to D. Smith, he is saying they're going to have to make this big decision whether to come back and recertify. Right. But they've got to recertify or they cannot sign a collective bargaining agreement. So don't they have to put the union back in place?
Of course they do, because otherwise I can't go and certify something for you or agree something to you unless I'm representing you. That's the problem. But one of the things we're looking at, too, is we have the owners say, we've agreed. It's kind of, they've agreed with each other, but it's the other side that has to agree, too. But, yes, under collective bargaining, yes, you need the union. Now, that's something, if everybody wants it, practicalities, if everybody wants it, it can be done really quickly. And however it's done, both parties can agree that meets the rules. It's just like a landlord and a tenant. If they want to break a 100-year lease, it's easy. It's when one wants it and one doesn't. That's where you have the problem.
Isn't this an issue of trust? I mean, not just antitrust, but it's an issue of trust. The players don't want to recertify until they know that the lockout is going to be lifted. The lockout's not going to be lifted until the players recertify. So isn't it sort of a game of cat and mouse at this point?
It is, but if I was the attorney there, I would do one of those deals where they work together. Either you have both or you don't have the other one. And you can make an agreement like that where you have a clause in there and you say, okay, we'll do this if you do that. But if you don't, deal's off, we don't have it. And that's how it's done in contracts.
But they can't recertify until they drop first of all, the antitrust lawsuit. That's the key. They have 3 pending court cases. The key one is the antitrust, because if they put the union back together now, they cannot sue the league by United States
Correct.
laws for antitrust. So they can't do that until the antitrust element of this is solved. That must be the holdup right now. They may have agreed on the CBA, but have they solved, Matt, as far as you know, the antitrust litigation in the state of Minnesota right now?
Greg, I think the major issue is the players haven't agreed to what the terms of the CBA. I think the owners agreed to their own proposal, but I think there's a lot of issues today. I was out and talked to a bunch of San Francisco 49ers players today, and they, to a man, said that the latest update that they'd been getting from their player rep was that there were still some issues hanging out there, and that they are not on the owner's timetable. The owners presented a very nice list of their timetable, but the players aren't on that time.
Do they have issues with the elements of the collective bargaining agreement or the settlement of these court cases?
I think mostly, I think there are some elements of the collective bargaining agreement that haven't fully been agreed to.
So the owners just voted on a document that may have to be changed?
That's exactly what I was saying is the agreement is among the owners that, okay, we finally got together 31 to 0, but you have to get together and agree with the other side. They've agreed with themselves. Here it is. We've agreed. And that's part of the problem. The other side didn't agree.
I think the issue, they're close enough that the owners felt like, hey, we got to get this thing going now. They've already lost the Hall of Fame game. They want to get the league year started on Wednesday. So I think this was sort of a power play on the owners to get things
exactly, because what the owners want to say, hey, look, we're ready, and if we don't have football, it's not our fault. It's those bad players that did it.
As far as recertifying the union, how complicated is that? DeMaurice Smith is saying he wants to send everybody a little card. Mike Gibson said he got one in the mail when they decertify. Do you have to do it that way, or can't you just hit a button on a mass email and recertify?
You could do it any way you want as long as both sides say it's valid. Where there's a problem is if someone says, no, you can't do it that way. But if both sides want it, you could have anything and bring it back in.
And it seems like there's that element to allow this to happen with the owner's timetable. If they open up the facilities on Saturday, players can come in, they can sign their union cards, and they can recertify as a union. And then the league year doesn't start until Wednesday, which should be plenty of time for the players to certainly
and in fact,
recertify.
Adam Schefter of ESPN